So I'm in Chicago, and the man at the Chanel store opens the door like this much. Like Ratatouille couldn't fit in there.
Hey people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. So today's video, it is a very interesting video as always. Now, a popular TV personality, a wealthy woman, Bethenny Frankel, was denied access to Chanel store in New York. So what happened was that Bethenny Frankel was in New York, and if you don't know who she is from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, if I'm not mistaken. She's known, and she got the money. She got the money. Okay, so she was in New York, and she was dressed very casual, very down, and then she decided to go into a Chanel store. But when she got there, she was refused entrance into it, and obviously the security guard or the man at the door didn't know who she is and didn't allow her in. And she was really upset about it because she was wearing plain jeans and t-shirt, and she was like, you know what, is this what they do here in Chanel, that they don't allow just anybody to come in here? And she decided to go back there all dolled up, all dressed up, like looking like the Bethenny Frankel that she is, like the rich got money woman. And immediately she got there, she was allowed in, and this just gave that pretty woman moment where she was like, big mistake, a big mistake. When she got in there, she was like, oh my god, is this how you guys are going to treat your customer? Because I don't look rich, you're not going to let me in? Because, like, no. Anyway guys, let's go check out this video because she did document it, how she went back there all dressed up and all that. So let's go check it out, and then we'll come back and talk more.
So I'm in Chicago, and the man at the Chanel store opens the door like this much. Like Ratatouille couldn't fit in there. And he's like, hello, do you have an appointment? Like, he's like Lurch in the Addams Family, like, you rang? And I'm already on the offensive, and I'm like, no, I don't have an appointment. I have a credit card, I have a bag of carrots, popcorn, a basic. Am I not allowed to come in at 3:54 on a Tuesday? Evidently not. I don't have an appointment. And to be like treated like you're an interloper, like I'm just walking down the street, just opening up a door to just walk into a store. I thought that's what happened. Like, I didn't realize that we're not allowed to walk into stores anymore. I don't have an appointment. Got to get a pap smear appointment, and also to go walk in Chanel. No big deal. No, I'm well aware of the crime rate. I'm from a city where you have to break toothpaste out of jail. It is easier to steal toothpaste than to buy it in New York City. Let me show you what I was wearing. I wanted to look cuter before we thought, but here we are. I was wearing a raggy t-shirt off the plane, sweating like a whore in church, cardigan around my waist, jeans from American Eagle, just like cargo-y plain jeans, and a waist bag, whatever, a fanny pack. And I don't wear it the cool way, I wear it the mom way. Okay, so there are all these luxury stores here, Hermes and YSL, and there's an armed guy with a vest outside. And like, you understand that. This was not that. This was a man that opened the window this much, opened the door this much, and was like, hi, do you have an appointment? And I was like, no. Oh, sorry. Like, it was the way. You could be like, hi, how are you? We'd love to see you. So sorry. We work by appointment, but please, if you want to call between the hours of whatever and whatever. Because the first interaction with a brand or a store, it's like the bread basket at a restaurant. Like, it needs to be warm, it needs to be herb butter. We need to have an experience. It is my first impression. It was a turn off, it was rude, which is also a serious crime. I'm going into Chanel now, dressed much differently than I was dressed yesterday. If they let me in because of how I look, Christmas is canceled. Let's do this. Problem today. We're very nice outside.
These videos strike a conversation of a lot of people talking about how brands, like these expensive luxury brands, how they do this to common people. And some people were just literally saying that, you know what, these are rich people problem. What am I doing it, you know? Let me know your thought about this down in the comment section. Love to know what you think about this conversation. Do you think these are rich people's problem? Is not your problem? Okay, or do you think that these luxury brands, they usually like profile people and don't allow certain people in? I have like a mini story, and I've told this story a couple of times, which I will. But let's go check out people's thoughts on this. But before we get there, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell. Okay, so let's go check out people's thoughts on this, and then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts. But also, I want to know your own thoughts, so go down in the comment section and share your thoughts.
So I saw Bethenny Frankel's video about Chanel not letting her in or whatever, and I'm happy that happened because I wish some people would understand that these public personas that y'all have of like being loud, throwing drinks, you know, and just being a mess and an open drunk in public. Nobody wants that inside their stores. And being a reality star doesn't make you an A-list celebrity. That's why they didn't let Natalie Nunn into that restaurant wherever it was at. In a sense, we're getting back to a place where class matters and class is important. And I'm so happy to see it.
Really?
And I hope more of like the young girls, like the girls who are born. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say even the girls born after 2000 because there are some 90s babies who are acting amok out here. I hope people start to understand that all those like detestable behaviors that our parents used to warn us about, they're still detestable. And in high class society, it's still looked down upon, no matter what you look like. Okay? And just because I was in the Chanel store this weekend and I was gladly served. Okay? I enjoyed me my little Chanel.
So I'm in Chicago, and the man at the Chanel store opens the door like this much, like to be like treated like you're an interloper. Like,
so apparently the Chanel store in Chicago turned Bethenny Frankel away because of how she was dressed. And then the next day she returned, had on a super luxury look, and they let her in the door. So Bethenny is ranting about, you know, how dare they not let me in because of how I look. And of course, I'm just like, nah, it ain't right, but, you know, welcome to America. What can I say? And there has been a lot of crime at these luxury stores in Chicago. I'm in Chicago, and, you know, you got to do what you have to do to prevent loss. There has to be some measure in place if you're a business owner and you know a certain thing is happening. How do you stop the thing? Unfortunately, that means some people may be judged. I'm not saying it's right by any means, especially when it comes to being judged by your skin color. But if you know your clientele has a certain demographic, and someone comes to your place of business that's not your demographic, is going to put some things on alert, or at least it should. And of course, there are a lot of people in the comments like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Chanel hasn't responded yet, because clearly this has been over 2 days. And my first thought is like, okay, does Chanel have someone on their team who is specifically, you know, on alert, or has Google alerts or whatever, you know, social listening turned on to track stories like this when they get posted? And I'm like, it's Chanel, like worldwide brand. Someone from a Chanel store or part of the Chanel brand somewhere has to have known about this and escalated it up. So I'm sure they know. And then my second thought was like, this story may actually work in Chanel's favor. Like, some people are like, oh my gosh, how could they? But most people are like, girl, shut up. Like, who cares that Chanel did not let you in? In this economy, ain't nobody thinking about walking in a Chanel store buying nothing. And then to have literally the means or privilege to be able to go back the next day dressed in your best just to prove a point. Who got time for that? So when I say it may work in Chanel's favor, think about it like this. All of these luxury brands, part of the appeal is that everybody cannot get it. So for Chanel to have turned away literally a millionaire person that's in the public eye with a huge following, it's like, man, they bogus. But at the same time, it just goes to show that literally only the elite carry this brand. So anyone who's carrying a Chanel purse has to have passed the Chanel sniff test. Not saying it's right, but, you know, just thinking as a brand strategy, well, from a brand strategy point of view, like, that's kind of the point of a luxury brand for most people, because, you know, for some people, luxury really does mean just quality, convenience, whatever. But I'm talking about the people who are more concerned with the image that luxury projects. So what do you think?
and because of how I look, Christmas is canceled.
I encourage you to go watch Bethenny Frankel walk in and out of Chanel dressed completely different. She totally slayed her pretty woman moment right out of the movie. What I also want to note is that luxury doesn't mean you get to treat people like they're nothing. Chanel, luxury doesn't mean price tag determines how you dress. Chanel, what are you trying to tell people? What are you doing? Coco Chanel herself would probably be appalled. The brand was founded by Coco Chanel in an effort to make clothes elegant, sporty, and less expensive. You need to calm down and apologize.
Okay.
And also, I just want to note that luxury can be associated now with authenticity, being real, being kind, supporting friendliness. It costs you nothing. You don't know who's walking in your door. With that said, please support small brands who make good shit and are nice to people and will never change.
So I'm in Chicago, and the man at the Chanel store opens the door like this much.
Hi, Bethany. I'm sorry about your experience and that you were treated that way. I was actually at that Chanel store today too. I'm pretty positive I was there around the same time you were there. And I was waiting inside the store for them to grab my purchase that I had prepaid for. Long story short, they gave the purchase to someone else. They don't know who. They don't know. Now, my first name is common. It's Ashley, okay? But my last name, not so common. No one is coming in there with that first and last name. So whoever did not do their due diligence to check the person's ID and the purchase to make sure the names matched. Yeah, but they dropped the ball. Now, they were definitely having an off day today because normally the experience is amazing, flawless, like really, really good experiences with that particular location. But nonetheless, just no fun for the girls at Chanel today. But I don't know how long you're in town. I would love to help you navigate your shopping experience through the city. I am a fashion stylist and personal shopper. So let me know.
In church, cardigan around my waist, jeans from American Eagle, just like
Knowing that even rich people get profiled because of how they dress kind of makes me feel it's a real thing. I went into a store and I was in sweats because it was cold and rainy outside and I was out of town, so I didn't have like an outfit, and I was like, I'm just gonna stop in this store. They were expensive, but not like Chanel. This lady looked at me and didn't even say hi, and all of her attention was on like the rich couple that was buying stuff for his wife. And I said this purse was like $120. Like, it wasn't even, she absolutely thought I didn't have money and I wasn't going to be buying anything because I was in like sweatpants, I'm assuming. The cutest bag, I still think about this bag, and I refused to buy it. And I was like, she was so rude. And I think that's exactly what happened here. And yeah, it's crazy, but it's real and funny.
if they let me in because of how I look.
This is quite literally the most insane thing to me, that there's still stores and associates out here allowing things like this to happen. I mean, Bethenny Frankel, she's a reality star. Maybe some people don't know her, but letting somebody into your store based on how they look is one of the craziest things. I was a personal stylist for Nordstrom from, probably like 2010 to 2014 at one of their flagship locations. And let me tell you, some of my best customers came in sweatpants, and that's okay. I didn't care. I didn't judge. And you know how I acquired a lot of my customers? Obviously referrals and all of that, but working the floor. So although as a personal stylist, you got to make your own schedule and you could kind of do what worked best, I would literally walk the floor, and I can tell you the people who spent the most were not the ones who looked like they had money. Maybe that's like a terrible thing to say, but it's true. I mean, there were plenty of people that looked like they had money that spent the most also, but what I'm saying is don't judge a book by its cover, because in sales, like, it's just crazy who will spend money. Like, people don't care. Also, think about like you personally, when you go shopping, you're not always like looking fancy to go, but you like have one thing in mind that you're gonna buy, right? I don't know. I get it, it's Chanel, but like, please, come on. This is like 2024 and this is like a little beyond. And I just think it's ridiculous. Literally, one of my favorite customers, we'll call her Penny. Her and I became such good friends, and she was literally the goofiest, funniest lady. Like, always would come in discombobbled. And I remember the first time nobody wanted to help her because they thought that she wasn't going to buy something. Because this was like, we met on the floor when she was just shopping. If you know BP, Brass Plum, if you know the BP department, and it was like a random Tuesday evening I was working, like 6:30, I remember I was getting ready to leave my shift. And I just remember like her looking crazy, nobody wanting to help her because she just looked like she wasn't going to buy anything. And when I say crazy, I mean like stuff falling out of her hands, just grabbing all kinds of stuff. And she just looked like somebody was going to try on and like never purchase a thing. And let me tell you, I went to go check on her in the fitting room, and I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 items. And I come in, there's a huge pile and only like 2 things in her hand. And she's like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, oh, these 2 things. She's like, no, these are the things that didn't work for me. I need that whole pile. Can you help me carry it? And I'm not kidding. There was like 3 dozen items. And it got to the point where she literally had her card on file with me. And whenever we'd get something new, I would just text her pictures and she'd be like, yes, 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 yes. And half the time, like after about a year of working together, she was like, don't even ask me, just send it. If I don't want it, I'll return it. And there are a lot of serial returners at Nordstrom, but this woman, she didn't return anything. Literally nothing ever came back. So anyways, that's just a little story for you about folks shopping. Let's not judge others, not just in shopping, in many areas of life, okay? Let's not judge anybody ever. However, this is ridiculous that this is still happening, okay? Also, say hi to my little hair that's... Okay, love you, bye.
To be like treated like you're an interloper. Like,
So Bethenny Frankel was denied entrance into Chanel, and she's in her bag about it. And I thought, well, yay, good for you. I think you need that type of experience. And not because she's this like problematic person, because she is, but more so because like as women, like y'all need to stretch yourselves and to consider when you have positive and negative experiences, like ask yourself, how would someone who like this, Brown, right? How would they experience that? In that video, she talks about how she walked in off the street for Chanel, and apparently you need an appointment. They would not even open the door to acknowledge her humanness. Like they opened it a smidgen and was like, what do you want? White tea lady. But imagine what that would have been like for someone like me. And not like, the ask isn't for you to imagine what it would be like with me attempting to enter Chanel, but entering my place of employment, entering the bus, entering the supermarket, entering a beach, anywhere. That's what our life is like, right? Those are the daily microaggressions that we experience several times a day. And if, I don't think she's someone who's willing to do the work, who even has that seed of curiosity implanted in her. But I think 2 things. One, she's not there. And so she does not get to position herself as the voice for women, as the voice for, countries that are suffering, which is what she has historically done. No, if you want to give your money, great, she can give her money, but sit down and be quiet. Sit down and be quiet. Because she was quiet on everything that happened with Nene Leakes, right? And she's like was trying to position herself as like, I'm the person who's going to bring Bravo down. But you're mad because they're not interested in bringing you back on the show. And you thought you would ride this wave. Like you thought you were going to Me Too Bravo. And you're quiet on everything. before all of this stuff started happening, she wasn't talking about the racism that Nene Leakes experienced, and that's factual. She wasn't talking about the stuff with Mariah Huck from Married to Medicine. There's a pattern there with Bravo, and as someone who historically had been a face of Bravo, she didn't lend her privilege to that conversation. She brought Nene on her podcast when everything was quiet, right? When it would serve her ratings. And it didn't do what she thought it would do because people see her as a fraud. But the second thing is, I think for the folks who follow her and platform her, we need to deplatform her. And for the YT folks who really are trying to do better and be curious and try to unlearn the patriarchy and unlearn the colonialism, like the question you have to ask yourself every day, all day, with every experience is, how would someone like this experience that? Would they have the same treatment, right? Would they have access to the same things? And then ask yourself why and why not. And then what can I do with this privilege, right? To even have the privilege to come on and speak to millions of people like Bethenny has about this experience, like expand the conversation. Can we just broaden it to not just like your singular experience, but like, I'm seeing this video, I'm seeing footage of other people talking about this, and it's letting me think like, wow, if I were a Nene Leakes going in here, I wonder what her experience would have been like. It could have been better because she's, known more, but still, everything is just always an opportunity and an invitation. And I hope for her that she takes it, but more importantly, I hope for the masses of women that y'all take that opportunity to just really sit in what that injustice felt like for you, but stretch it to what does it feel like for us. Y'all, check out my podcast. It's called I'm Not Gonna Be Quiet. It's a space where we tell the truth to heal ourselves. Let's keep the conversation and work towards getting free.
Please let me know your own thoughts about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. Do you think that it was a good thing that Bethenny experienced what she experienced? Like, at least now she can get it. She's a white woman. She can get it. Do you think that, Chanel should be cancelled? Do you think that, these high-end brands should be... I just want to know your own thought, because I feel like the conversation is very broad, because some people are coming from the race form, some people are coming from don't judge a book by a cover, some people are coming from sometimes the patriotic system, you rich people sometimes need to learn the hard way. But yeah, I love to know your own take about this conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful as always, okay? You're on the channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way, so feel free to share your opinion, okay? So yes, my thought on this is that I feel like my own thought is just jumbling up. Someone like Bethenny Frankel, like the last creator said, you could use it to amplify more situations that's going on, especially to black people. And if that situation to be a black woman, it would have been a different thing. So these are some of the least minimum as black women or as black people we experience, and then she experienced it and she's like, making a big fuss about it. But let's get back into the conversation of, people have to dress a certain way for people to be addressed. I feel like it's a big deal even in my society, and I feel like generally is in the world, people read you by the way you are dressed, and sometimes they kind of address you because of the way you are dressed. You see that saying that say that dress the way you want to be addressed? It's so true. Even though as much as people will want to say, you know what, live your best life, do what you want to do it the way you want to do it. Sometimes if you dress a certain way, you'll be addressed a certain way, and it is what it is. Coming from a girl that I like being very, very comfortable. I'm a comfortable girl. I'm in the middle. Sometimes I can be all girly up, all dolled up. Sometimes I can just like, whatever. I notice that when I have makeup on, the approach is different for me. When I have my hair done, it's different. When I have a low cut, it's different. It's all really different all around. Just depends the way what you're doing and how you look. So yeah, I find this conversation very, very, very interesting. And I've been to shops that, or I've been to places where I was being ignored because of the way I was dressed or the way I look, or it just basically just look like I can't afford anything there. Literally, let me even give you guys this. This is not even a store. This is not a store. So I have a dog. If you guys don't know, I have a dog, and that's like my daughter. That's my baby. Okay. So I have a dog, and she has serious anxiety, and she can get aggressive sometimes. And there was this incident that happened that she bit me because she was scared. Like she was really anxious, and out of that flinch moment, she kind of flipped my nails and hurt my nails. And I was like, you know what, I need to send her to a training school where like a dog trainer to train her, because her anxiety, she needs to calm down. And I understand one of the reasons why that was with her was because for the longest time it was just the three of us, me, her, especially me, just me and her, and then my husband. And then now I have people in the house and all that, and she's not used to it. I didn't do works with her and all that because of where I was living at the time. So she gets really anxious seeing people that are not us. She get anxious. And then I went online and I was looking for a dog trainer, and I contacted a dog trainer, and I was like, oh, that I need to train my dog, da 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 da. And do you know what, the I think I can look for that message. I'll look for that message and put it up on the screen. And the dog trainer said that, oh, it's really expensive. And I'm like, yeah, but I really need this because this is my baby. Like, I'll do anything for her. Like, literally, I was like, this is my baby. I need it. Mom was like, oh, I don't think you can afford it. That's why I said, like, I don't think you can afford it. I felt so angry, and I was like, this is so sad that someone is just reading someone's profile, just going through by my WhatsApp profile and just profiling me that, oh, you know what, she can't afford it. This is not the type. Like, the fact that you would think of that rather than you giving the person the option to say, oh, you know what, I can't afford it, I'll come back later. So it's something I feel like that it's rampant in the society. And for Bethenny, I feel like it's really strange for her because she's Bethenny. Everywhere she goes to, people know her. She pulled affluence and all that. So this kind of thing happening to her was just like news. But for regular chick like myself or like some of us, it's just like, okay, that's how we will get somebody like, please. I've gone to a shop where they asked me to drop my bag, and they were not asking other people to drop their bags because they thought I was not supposed to be there and all that. So yeah, so I feel like it's the way society has pipe up the patriarchy and the hierarchy and the capitalism that has gone on in our society and in the world in whole, where certain people are not, especially a black woman, we can actually relate to this type of situation where you walk somewhere and someone is giving you the side eye. Literally, I've been in an hotel restaurant where they were looking at what is she doing here, because it looks like I was not meant to be there, like probably the way I was dressed or something, because I was wearing just the jogger pants, and I think this is my small top as always. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I love to know your own take about this amazing conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful as always. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl, yeah. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.